So Epstein was found dead at 6:30 this morning, right?
Right. Yes. Just when I was texted.
Yes, in the special housing unit of the MMC in Manhattan, Lower Manhattan, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like on Center Street, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know the different streets down there. So the SHU is where he's being held. It is a special housing unit, aka the Hole. So Epstein was in the most heavily guarded part of the facility. However, he was not on suicide watch. You know, he tried to kill himself, or they say he tried to kill himself about a week ago. He was found in his cell in a fetal position. They said with marks in his neck, although when he appeared in court shortly after that, there were no marks on his neck, right?
Yeah, there were none.
A lot of people sort of put the beam on Nicholas Tartaglione, his close friend in jail. Apparently, they had been making many complaints together about, I'm reading that the complaints were about flooding, food, and rats.
He was unionizing. He was trying to unionize the prison.
So what they were doing is what we call the rank and file strategy, where they were trying to build up an activist base among the prisoners at the MMC in order to put a more progressive leadership in the unit, which is something that like I really endorse, but it can be dangerous.
But as we can see, as evidenced by Mr. Epstein and all social democrats to take notice of this, trade unionism is a failing strategy.
Exactly. He is only reached false consciousness, unfortunately. So now he has reached no consciousness because he's dead.
He's dead. Just to be totally transparent, I don't think that I fully processed this, and I don't totally understand what's going on. Like, I feel a little crazy, and my suspicion is that a lot of our listeners feel absolutely fucking insane.
So this keeps getting more real, I think, to people. And I think that's something really important to notice. Like when he was arrested, it was like this big thing when they found the DVDs and the diamonds and the false passport. I think a lot of people got like kind of a wake up call when the last, quote unquote suicide, quote unquote murder attempt occurred. I think that really shocked a lot of people awake. And this, I think, was the final slap in the face to those who have been sleeping through this, because this is huge.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy when both like Rod Dreher, or however you say his name, and AOC are tweeting like that there needs to be an investigation. Yeah, I wasn't joking that this is a radicalizing moment for a lot of people.
How do you mean by that?
I just mean that I think instances like this, and particularly like you were saying, how, his murder makes this very clear just how much the ruling class controls and what, solidarity they show in the face of perhaps an investigation getting too close to the truth.
Yeah, I agree. I think that for a lot of people, I think this might show them that at the top, there is ultimate class solidarity. Like, it doesn't matter if you're liberal or conservative or whatever, you stick with your class. And you, in fact, I think this shows a lot of people, they're literally physically preying on working class and poor people.
Yeah.
Like, they are sucking their life energies out, making potions and injecting them. I mean that metaphorically, but like also possibly literally. What I am worried about is an investigation being something like the Warren Commission, which exists mostly to cover up what actually happened.
Well, I think that's going to definitely happen if there is an investigation. This is like the most proud I've ever been of AOC, her tweeting about Epstein. Her first good tweet.
Yeah, I know. I blocked her because she sent me a bunch of weird harassing messages when she was running, which I didn't appreciate, but I also don't want to Me Too her because I don't, she is like an important voice in Congress or whatever.
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah, or whatever, mostly. But yeah, I think this is huge for a lot of people. And like people I haven't spoken to in a long time are texting me. They're telling me that this is fucking insane. This is blowing their minds. And it's It is a little concerning that the FBI, however, has been chosen to investigate this. News reports came in shortly after he died that the FBI has opened up an investigation into his death. If you'll recall, the FBI are the same people who put out a memo last week where they said that QAnon, Pizzagate, and other conspiracy theory people, meaning AKA us and our listeners, are possibly domestic terrorists.
Yeah. So I don't trust them. It's just going to be like anything else. Like you brought up the Warren Commission. I think there's other ones we could bring up. I'm probably not going to right now because people are going to think I'm insane, and I don't want to reveal that too quickly.
Yeah, we gotta leak that slowly.
Yeah, of how crazy I am.
Yeah.
But I do think that like any kind of, investigation, official investigation, is going to be completely limited and totally corrupt. I just don't trust it. I don't think anyone, and I don't know why anyone would.
No, I don't think.
There's been a lot of very strange, social media responses that have been basically like concern trolling, like, guys, actually, he probably did commit suicide and you're all being crazy. And it's like, one, shut up. Don't be a nerd. No one likes a nerd. Second of all, you're wrong. He didn't. He didn't.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not true. I don't believe it.
I don't think that the people who did fucking COINTELPRO are very interested in busting an elite pedophile cabal. Do you?
No. So it's like, just save your concern trolling for like your lame girlfriend. I don't care.
Yeah. Stop telling me too many fucking Snickers or something. It's absurd to me. So Epstein, his body was taken to a hospital in Manhattan, and it was immediately ruled a suicide, right? Mm-hmm. That is very quick.
Well, so what's weird is I just saw that the Washington Post just updated their story, meaning within the last 20 minutes. And now they inserted a little line here that says, people close to Epstein refuse to rule out foul play, according to one person familiar with their discussions early Saturday.
And
they asserted that Epstein seemed in good spirits in recent days.
Yeah, it is pretty concerning that this happened. I also read testimony from some of the victims and some of the victims' family members where they also expressed, let's say, a little bit of disbelief that this was actually a suicide. Some people did. Of course, some of his victims were like, it's sad that he died because we wanted him to face, judgment in the secular world or whatever. Now he's being judged by God. But it is insane. Plus, we don't actually go to heaven. I feel like this is a big misunderstanding about my people. There's no pearly gates for us, so that's not where Epstein's going anyways.
So this came in from this morning that apparently Epstein had been taken off suicide watch before he killed himself.
So was he ever actually on suicide watch? Because I've heard conflicting things.
Well, he needed to be on murder watch. Clearly,
yeah, absolutely.
Suicide watch wasn't really the issue.
Yeah, and he didn't appear in court wearing the next day after he did try to kill himself, or the next time he appeared in court. He wasn't wearing sort of the blue vest that they give suicide watch people. So it turns out he actually wasn't even taken to the hospital after that first incident. He was treated in the MMC and then released back into his unit. So the special housing unit where he was in, the way the cells are laid out is there is a camera that is facing the bed. It's a camera looking outwards or inwards from the door. And there's a camera in the shower. The door has is no windows in there. And the door has one of those metal things where they can't look out, but the guards, or the screws I call them, can come and open that up and take a look. The lights are on 23 to 24 hours a day, and there are always people monitoring the cameras. Not sure where he would have hanged himself from. It's been difficult to actually find pictures of the cells. There are pictures of MMC cells out there, but you can't really tell what unit they're in. So, I mean, it's this is a several minute process, right? Like you can't just, make this little noose and then hang yourself. Like when you hang yourself in that manner, you don't snap your neck like you do in like a hanging at the gallows or whatever. You choke to death. So that takes a little bit of time.
That's an ugly situation.
Yeah. So Epstein was hanging there choking to death probably for at least over a minute, and nobody checked, right? It seems he is the most high-profile prisoner in America right now, and nobody was looking.
Yeah, I don't buy it. Sorry.
I mean, if you're buying that, then I got a lot of bridges elsewhere in New York to sell you.
I mean, yeah. I don't think anyone buys it. I mean, that's the whole sentiment is basically, like, literally every reaction I've seen is, well, that's not a suicide. So the question then is, what are we going to do about it? And my sneaking suspicion is that a lot of our listeners are looking for a bit of guidance here, Brave. And it's tough. I don't really know what to say.
Well, I mean, I think the obvious answer is that clearly the cabal will not bust the cabal. The most depraved sort of quarters of the ruling class won't arrest each other. What we have to do here is it's a Grampshian strategy where we have to make Epstein basically a watchword for the rich. Like it has to come from people. Like nobody, I have never seen this reaction in my lifetime to an incident such as this. With 9/11, everybody was written off as a crank if they questioned, what was clearly an intelligence operation, or at least partly an intelligence operation.
Right.
With Epstein, I've seen very few people be like, oh yeah, this makes sense. Well, guess case closed then. This is on everybody's lips.
Strangely enough, a lot of social democrats saying that.
Yeah, well,
you know who you are.
Yeah, exactly, and we know who you are.
This is why you don't trust social democrats, by the way.
Yeah, well, I mean, they maybe they're following the lead of the French Socialist Party, in which case they might be implicated in this. So we are, or the Italian Socialist Party. So we need to make Epstein basically the most popular man in America. I call this the Coney 2012 strategy. I understand that
Coney was fake. So
Coney was a psyop.
Make sure, this is not.
Well, this is a psyop, but this is a psyop from the working man. We are psyoping them at this point. So in court-wise, what's going to happen is, this is from ABC News, is law enforcement sources told ABC News that the criminal case against Epstein will not end with his death. The FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan will continue to evaluate the evidence and hear from his accusers, the sources said. A source familiar with the case told ABC News that, and get this, Liz, that Attorney General William Barr is livid. Barr said in a statement that he was appalled at the news, and the Inspector General is opening an investigation into Epstein's death in addition to the FBI investigation. I feel like it's a little weird to open an investigation into the guy that your dad fucking brought into this world.
Yeah, I just can see Mr. William Barr on his fainting couch right now. He just can't take it. Well, I never, he exclaimed.
Let us recall that Jeffrey Epstein was a 20-year-old. At 20, he had dropped out of college twice already, plucked out of obscurity. This is his first entrance into the world of high finance, the world of New York millionaires, by Donald Barr, William Barr's father, an ex-OSS, Office of Strategic Services, precursor to the CIA agent. So William Barr's father is the person who brought Epstein, set him on his track in life. The whole thing is disgusting.
I know. It's like, it breaks the brain. I understand why so many people online are going nuts.
Yeah, I think this is like Epstein brain. It's beyond Epstein brain.
We live in an Epstein society.
It's
yeah.
Everybody, I was at a wedding last night. Everybody's talking Epstein.
Really?
Well, yeah. Well, because I was talking about it and they were forced to respond to me in conversation. But it is, It's a bigger deal than I think people realize, but the thing is, it will go out of the news, right? They will move on. Trump will say the Z word or something, and people will freak out, and this news will sort of get shunted away. Look at all the mass shootings that happened.
I know. I think that we kind of collectively need to make sure that this doesn't get out of the news. And that's kind of what you're talking about with your meme strategy, right?
Exactly. Like, this needs to be constantly brought up, and there needs to be a real grassroots movement to destroy the cabal.
I mean, it sounds jokey, but that's basically what communism is, by the way.
Where the cabal goes, so goes the class. And we need to replace it with a workers' cabal. Wait, no.
Wait, no. No,
I didn't mean that.